Okay, so in this tutorial, we're going to be working on our sign up page right here. And so we're going to try to sign up our users with Firebase. So what we're going to do is first let's go here and then we're going to click the yellow and we're going to do is initial view controller just so this can be the first page that loads up when we run our app. But later on, don't forget to change this back to the tab bar controller so that your home page will be the first page to load up. But for now, we'll keep it here. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new file. It's going to be a Cocoa Touch class. We're just going to call it sign up VC. And then here we're gonna be a subclass of a UI view controller. You see it added in here. You can keep it there or delete it, doesn't matter. I'm gonna delete it. Alright. So now we're gonna go back to our storyboard and then make sure the yellow's clicked, and we're gonna go here and we're gonna click this one. And so for the class, we want this to be associated with the new class that we created, the sign up VC. So we're gonna change this to sign up VC. Alright. So now what we want to do is we want to open up this assistant editor right here. And I'm going to close this. Alright. So what we're going to do is we're going to control and press click, and we're going to drag from these text views onto our scene right here. And we're just going to call it full name. We're going to call this one email. I'm going to call this one username. Then we're going to call this one password. Press connect. And then we'll just drag the image view, call that profile pic. And then we're going to drag from this sign up button at the bottom. We're going to drag it on, call it sign up clicked. And instead of pressing, this time we're going to go to here, we're going to press action instead of outlet. And then we're going to connect it. Alright, so I'm going to close this assistant editor. And I'm going to go to our sign up VC. And just like we did in our app delegate, I'm just going to copy and import all these Firebase. Go back to here, and then, alright. So this action will happen when our sign up button is clicked. So when we press sign up, what we want to do is we want to get the fields, we want to get the username, full name, password, etc. And we want to sign up to Firebase with that. And how to sign up to Firebase is a method that we're going to call, it's called FIR auth. This is the authorization in Firebase. And then we're going to do .auth. Then there's a method called create user with email. And we're going to click that one. And so the email is going to be the text from this email text field right here. So we can just type in email and then dot text. Same for password. It's going to be password dot text. And then this completion block, we're just going to press enter. And then this right here, we're going to type in user. So this is going to be the information for the user that we're just tried to sign up. And then we're going to go here, and then we're going to call this error. And this is just going to be the error if an error were to happen. And then we're going to have to unwrap all of these texts right here. So unwrap and unwrap it like that. Alright. So this will sign up the user. And now we need to know if there was an error or not. So we're going to say if, we're going to say error equals nil. So that means there is no error. And then, all right, now we're going to go back to our Firebase. Make sure we're on our app. We're going to go to authentication. and then we have to set this sign in method. So we're going to press set sign in method, and these are all the sign methods. You could sign up with Facebook, Twitter, Google, but right now we did email and password, so we're just going to go to here and we're going to enable it and then press save. All right, and now, all right, if there's no error, we're going to leave that for now, and if there is an error, then we're just going to print the error. Let's build and run our app and see if it's working. All right, so our sign up page, our full name. We just type anything because we haven't set that up yet, but our email, we have to put an email, so let's just put testuser@gmail.com. Username, we'll just say test user, and then password, we'll just call it password. Then we're going to press sign up. All right, nothing will actually happen, but we're going to go over here, and then we're going to go to authentication, and we can see that it actually did work. It did sign up our user. So this is testuser.com, and then a unique ID, which is different for every user. And so now we see that that's working. But we haven't seen our username or our full name on here. And to do that, we're actually going to have to use database. This database is where we're going to store the most of our information, but we're also going to store user information in there too. So to do that, we're going to go in here. So that means if the error equals nil, which means there's no error, it's successfully signed up the user, then we're going to add his other information to our database. So to do that, we're going to do fir database.reference, and then that reference is just a reference to this database right here as a whole. And then to create another node, we're gonna do .child. So this will be a child of that database, and we're just gonna call this users. This is gonna hold all of our user information for every user that signs up. All right, and then we want information for this user that just signed up. So we're gonna do another child, and then we're gonna call that user.uid. And the UID is just the thing that we saw earlier. We saw user UID. It's just a unique identifier, so we know who the user is when we sign them up. And you'll see in a second when we sign up a new user, you'll understand what I'm talking about. And then now we can just press set values, and then we're going to set these values as in the structure of a dictionary. So what we want to do is their username. So we're going to do username colon, and we're just going to do username dot text, and then comma, and then we also want their full name, and then colon, and then just going to be full name dot text, and that's just the text from the full name text view that the text field that we signed earlier. And so the error is we got to unwrap this user ID, and then also, since we're enclosed in this block, it wants us to use self, which is the same thing as just coming from these fields that we see up here. And then also put it here in self.username. All right. And now let's run this, create a new user, and see if everything is working right. All right. Full name is going to be, let's just say, Johnny. His email is going to be jj@gmail.com. His username, we'll just say Johnny1, and his password, we'll just put it as password for now and sign him up. All right, now we're going to go to our authentication. I'm going to refresh that. And here you can see that he signed up, jj@gmail.com. And then the rest of his information is going to be in database. And here you see that here's our users node. This is going to hold all of our user information for every user. And then this node right here is just the UID for the user, which is a unique identifier. So the more users, there'll be more of these identifiers that pop up. And then when we go into that, that's his actual information. So that'll be full name right there, Johnny, and then his username, Johnny1. All right. In the next tutorial, we're going to get into actually logging in with Firebase.